Hello everyone and welcome to, let's call it the Wyoming Seminary Wrestling Show. We've never really had a name for this, but that pretty much fits the bill, don't you think, Coach?
Blue Night Wrestling Update.
That's good. So my name is Matt Buffano. I'm with Wyoming Seminary Athletics and Communications. I'm joined, of course, by Cornell Robinson, the head wrestling coach here at Wyoming Seminary. Coach, school just ended a couple days ago, a week or two ago. How's the summer looking so far?
Been busy already. We just came back from Geneva, Ohio for the boys U20 World Team Trials. So, we've been back at it, and we'll still be having practice starting tomorrow. So it's been already a busy summer.
Sounds good. Well, today's going to be a long show, kind of long interview, because we want to, while it's fresh in our minds, document this historic season of Wyoming Seminary wrestling. And there's no better time than right now, right after the season ended. So, Coach, let's settle in. If you're watching on YouTube, maybe grab a drink or a snack, and we'll be with you for, I don't know, the next 20, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, awesome.
So, Coach, the breaking news from last week was actually Luke Lillidahl being named the Win Magazine Junior Hodge Trophy Award winner. For people who don't really follow wrestling, the Hodge Award in wrestling, in college wrestling, is kind of like the Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
So winning it at the high school level is kind of like the high school Heisman Trophy. But it's, again, the Junior Hodge Trophy. Coach, we're going to talk about all of our seniors that just graduated, but let's start by talking about Luke. What sort of mark does he leave on this program, and what does he also leave on you, because you guys go back a long way?
Yeah, I think he's the first one in this program to ever win the Hodge, which is pretty great in itself, because it has some great wrestlers come through here, and he's the first kid I ever coached to ever win the Junior Hodge Trophy. So that just shows how good he is. And also this weekend he just clinched. He made his fourth world team, which is extremely hard to do. But yeah, the Hodge Trophy was a big one. And when they called me, they told me they picked the guys who they think will win the college Hodge Trophy. So he's in good company on that. And this is the best high school wrestler in the country. Private, prep school, public school, doesn't matter. They picked the best high school wrestler in the country, and Luke Lillidahl won that award, and he definitely made his mark on this program. And we're tied together for life, so I'll still see him and talk to him. And he's not too far away at Penn State, but when I made the move to come to Wyoming Seminary, I knew that I needed him to come with me, and I'm glad he did. And I knew he wasn't a big verbal leader, but he did everything that I needed of him as a worker, as a wrestler, as building a culture to help build that positive atmosphere in the room. He would never say too much, but he would definitely lead by example on how he approached his matches, how he approached practice, and how he had fun with his wrestling. So, yeah, we definitely will be missed. You don't get to coach kids like that every year, so definitely enjoyed my time I got to spend with him.
Yeah, Luke was a freshman state champion in Missouri, came to Wyoming Seminary. I think he took bronze, third place as a sophomore, and then he won back-to-back national championships. So he really, he's very gifted, very skilled, but he came a long way in these last couple years. Obviously, number one recruit in the country. So we're all very proud of Luke and what he's done. So, like I said, we want to talk about this season, this historic season. Where do we start, Coach? I mean, do we start with the Faith Christian Academy duel in December? Is it Ironman? Where do we start when assessing this season?
We can start with Faith Christian duel, because I was pretty excited that those guys wanted to wrestle. It's hard to find teams to want to wrestle you, right? Everybody, when they think they can beat you, that's when they kind of want to wrestle you. Not too many just want to wrestle just to wrestle good competition. They want to wrestle a competition where they feel worth their win. We're the opposite. We just want to wrestle the best just to wrestle the best. I don't care if we win or lose, but we want that opportunity. And for us, it's about the opportunity and chasing greatness. So, I was so thankful for those guys. And actually, we go up there, I want to say December 13th, to wrestle Faith Christian. So looking forward to that. Definitely was a good duel. You know, they're going to be one of the top programs. They also won the PIAA this year. They won the state tournament, so very excited to duel with them. That was a great duel meet. You know, you see the levels of the prep school and the PIAA. But yeah, it was just a great duel meet, great atmosphere, and it gave us a good home crowd and keep getting us support, so it was awesome.
What did you learn about Wyoming Seminary, the boys wrestling team at that Faith Christian?
What I did learn, I learned some things that we didn't want to do that night, actually, because we kind of drill in the bishop room before we come down. I think it's so hot in there. I think we had our kids kind of flat before they came out. So that's something I did learn. I didn't like how flat we looked, even though our kids are just, you know, they're winners, they're going to compete and fight through it. But I definitely felt like we might have overexhausted them a little bit. So definitely on how we approach it a little bit, I think, you know, playing off your emotions because it's a home duel, it's a big duel meet, and it's hard to kind of keep yourself settled in and go out there and perform. And, you know, everybody wants to win and not make a mistake. So, and as coaches, I think we can make mistakes by letting our anxiety and our pressure get to us and putting it on our kids. So we got to make sure we're not doing that.
And I think that was December 1st or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So between then and Christmas, what comes to mind? What other big events happened?
Yeah, the next one was Ironman right off the bat, where we, you know, I think pretty sure we set records there. We had 8 champs. I want to say 8 champs, or maybe 8 in the finals. It was just incredible performance there, and I mean, the semifinals was nuts, and I mean that's the best tournament in the country, hands down. And for us to have that many people in the finals and set a record at the Ironman tournament was crazy. And you know, once again, it was just, you know, some stuff you just can't believe, right? You know, we did all this stuff this year, and it's almost unbelievable. So,
Ironman, 8 champions, like you said, kind of a sign of things to come, because national preps is where we won 10 national championships. At Ironman, was there any 1 or 2 boys wrestlers that really stood out and surprised you? Because maybe it's not a Luke Lill at all, because you've kind of come to expect him to have a great performance. Was there anyone that really stood out to you from that weekend?
Yeah, Jake Daly, he stood out. He had some tough matches to go. He was seeded like 12th, right? And then he ended up making the finals. I think he lost in the finals, so it might have been 7. He ended up losing in the finals, but yeah, that was crazy for his performance. You know, Joe Seeley had some tough matches. I think he ended up losing to Ferrari in the finals, and Vince Bazakis won. Yeah, it was just a lot of team effort there, and people wrestling above their seeds a lot. Like I said, Jake Daly was the biggest one that stood out, because he was seeded 12th and took 2nd.
All right. And then comes Christmas break. But is it much of a Christmas break for wrestlers?
This year it wasn't. You know, we definitely, you know, we knew we had a good team, and so we wanted to kind of just, I want to showcase that. And so we went to Oklahoma for the National Wrestling Hall of Fame duels, and we were going, and Vince Bazakis couldn't go, which was huge, a huge hole in the dual meet. So he didn't go, and I think Jude was just finally coming back, and so we go to National Wrestling Hall of Fame. We faced some of the best teams in the country, Edmond North and Oklahoma, which they had their best year ever. And we end up wrestling Edmond North in the finals. And throughout the whole day, we're bumping kids up, shifting them down. You know, me and the coaches are having meetings, matchup. Davis Matika knew every kid we're facing, so I knew how to bump the lineup around. And Joe Seeley gets hurt, so now we're really in a hole. So we got to move everybody around again. So Vince Bazaka's not there. Joe Seeley's hurt. We might have been missing one more, but we wrestled Edmond North. And to be honest with you, we thought Jude had the pin to win, but he just needed to win, so he ended up winning like 5-1. And we thought we lost the duel, but on criteria, we had more wins, or I think it was tied, but we had more first. I don't know. We had something on criteria where we ended up winning it, and it was crazy because the kids were all saying we won the national duels, and that was probably one of the best tournaments there. I mean, that's when I knew the Ironman tournament was special, but the dual meet tournaments where you see kids cheering for each other, fighting for each other to win. Like our kids, not that they don't cheer during the regular tournaments, it's just everybody's so focused on their match, it's hard to go cheer for somebody at times. But dual meets, you can actually get into it, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. We brought a couple extra people with us who got a chance to compete. Jonas Becklin, and one of our freshmen, Dale Corbin, definitely had definitely showcased a good tournament there. And I also forgetting Seamus Regan at Ironman, he had a good tournament as well.
All right, and switching gears a little bit to the girls wrestling team, which also ultimately ended as a national champion. They were more of competing in the spring to some degree, but what stands out about them? When did you know that you had a special girls wrestling team this year too?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we go to the Journeyman Open. Shout out to Frank Papalizzo, he runs good tournaments. So if you're not into that Journeyman, it's a good deal. And he runs the Journeyman tournament, and it's a girls division, and I think we had maybe 5 or 6 champs there. A couple of our kids met in the finals, and I knew we were on to something pretty special then. We had a good group, and our good freshman core, Emma Bacon, Jacqueline Bazakis. I don't know if I'm missing one more, but yeah, we have a couple of real good freshmen that we're very excited about, and that's probably when I first knew there was something special at the Journeyman. And then also the Ultimate Club Duels, we went there for the girls team, and the duels builds a lot of team bonding and builds your relationships with the kids, so it's always awesome to see the dual atmosphere. But yeah, definitely we have this sophomore class now, they're freshmen this year, is definitely going to be pretty special.
And when you're assessing a wrestling season, there's so many invitationals, tournaments, duels that we can't focus on all of them, but one other one that I wanted to mention before we get into states and nationals is the Blair Academy duel. That was, of course, a big deal. It was the biggest crowd that we had at Carpenter Athletic Center all year. We end up winning the boys' duel. Girls was kind of an abbreviated duel. We had maybe 5 matches. Beyond the wrestling, what do you remember from that night?
I probably couldn't tell you what I remember from that night. But one thing, just how our kids really rise to the occasion. I think that night Don Federici was out, so we had to again shift the lineup around to win the duel, and Dale Corbin had to jump in there, and Seamus Regan wasn't there, so we had 2 major guys out of our lineup. Ethan Afterwicks had to step in at 106. He did a great job, and Dale Corbin did a great job. 2 freshmen stepped in the lineup there. So I guess, this whole year, no matter who stepped in, whether they're freshman, sophomore, junior, we were able to prevail at these dual meets because of the tradition of excellence and the tradition of just being a competitor is so strong here that, these guys were able to compete. And our room is so tough. If you're in this room, you're going to get tough. So it was, definitely. I say that was the most part. How, in sports, it never goes like you plan. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to be sick. Somebody's going to miss weight. And you got to figure out how to get the job done. So that's what this team really did a great job of not panicking on none of that.
And I want to point out, we are recording today in, maybe you recognize where we are. We're at the Great Hall. Former bank that was converted into our wrestling room. This is a special place.
Yeah, the kids call it the Hall of Greatness. So you may call it the Great Hall. The wrestlers call it the Hall of Greatness. And when you come in, the ghost of all these great wrestlers who've been in here are with you, and we take that with us in our fights. So it's pretty cool.
All right, now getting to states and nationals. Last year, Pennsylvania State Wrestling Tournament, we ended up finishing 2nd place. Yeah. First time in a long time that we did not win the state championship. We came back this year and won decisively. Yeah. Coming off that performance, how were you feeling going into nationals?
I was feeling pretty good. I think at the state tournament this year, we had all 14 weights in the finals, which is, again, unheard of. And I think we maybe only lost 1 match. We lost 2 matches, I think, in the state finals. So I think we had 12 out of 14 champs. It was pretty cool. I think that my first year we won the state tournament. And the state tournament, the prep state tournament that we're in, is always going to be tough because it's so small the deeper the tournament, the better we are, the more teams there are. But the smaller the tournament, a lesser team can keep up because it's less depth. And so the teams are able to kind of keep up with us. Even we had 14 in the finals, it was still close until like after a couple matches in the finals. And but yeah, it was pretty interesting. I think we won it, and I think the team, just an interesting concept, the team that got second, their head coach got coach of the year. Then we took second last year. The team that took first got coach of the year. Then we took first this year, and I didn't get coach of the year. So I think a coach from Western got it this year. So just interesting facts going on. But yeah, going into the national tournament, we're pretty confident. I think the main part of the end of the year is trying to stay healthy and be excited to compete, and that's kind of where hopefully we can keep it.
Now, national preps were at Lehigh University.
Yeah, so much better.
Remind me, was that Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday? What was the format?
Yeah, it's Friday, Saturday.
Okay,
Friday,
so
Saturday.
Going back to either Thursday or Friday when you're on your way to Lehigh, I mean, what were the conversations happening around the team? Was the team locked in? Was it loose? Like, what was the atmosphere?
It's always pretty loose around here. I try to make it loose, but they were definitely locked in. I think the more loose we are, the better we're locked in. And yeah, they were ready to make a name for themselves and set a record and go down as the best team ever, which they did. I think all the kids wanted it. I think the crazy thing about that tournament is, we had 10 champs, which is insane, 11 in the finals. But it sounds like it was no big deal. But some of those kids, a lot of those kids had to beat people they never beat before. So that's what made it so crazy and such an insane run.
Yeah, absolutely. For the record, on the boys' side, 10 champions out of only 14 weights.
Yeah.
11 finalists, 395.5 points. All of those are new records for an event that's been around since like 1937 or thereabouts. And I want to give a shout out to Bill X. Barron, who keeps an exhaustive and very useful record book. So we were actually able to confirm that those are all records. The amount of champions, the amount of finalists, the amount of points that we scored. And of course, we did it with a lot of seniors on the boys' side and the girls' side. Let's take a moment to kind of look back on them and look ahead to what they're going to be doing in college. We'll go one by one here. So we'll start with the girls' wrestlers. First up, Claire Bowie. What could we say about Claire Bowie?
We'll go with Claire. I'll say this too, and also another record that was broken. You kind of said it. This is the first time a school won the girls and the boys championship together, which was another awesome deal considering that I am the director of wrestling and I get to be involved with both teams. So it's pretty cool seeing the girls do such a cool thing.
And one other thing to follow up off that, Brett Fry was named the coach of the year at National Preps.
Yeah, definitely got to give a shout out to Coach Brett Fry. I mean, he worked so hard this year, sacrificed his time, and his son is on the boys team. So, he's in both, just doing coaching as much as possible. So, well-deserved for Coach Brett Fry. He goes above and beyond for our girls. So, all right, Claire Bowie, she's going to be missed so much. Claire is a kid that, I kind of met her last year, and she always came to our practices. But this year, knowing that I got to kind of be a little part of her journey, we always kind of worked after practice on little things, and we traveled to the Bill Furrow. She competed in several senior level events where I got to take her to, and man, just a great personality. I think definitely one of the kids who will be missed a lot for our program. So, but I'm pretty sure she'll go on and do special things, and we'll see her around. So she keeps her attitude. She'll go big and do great things. She's headed to King University, which is one of the top women's programs in the country. So definitely should be fun watching her there.
All right, how about Emily Brown?
Emily Brown, I'm gonna get that school right. DUville?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, DUville. She's going to DUville. Definitely will miss Emily Brown. I mean, I think she's one of the best competitors I've seen in a while. I think she definitely knows when it's game time how to get after it. And yes, her competitiveness will be missed. And I like the fact that she was very, I don't know how to say it, but she was proud of her heritage. And I think it taught a lot of different culture on our team, which we need, right? We need to learn and respect everybody's culture. So it was awesome learning from her.
And as an assistant coach for the SEM softball team, Emily Brown was on the team. She hit over 300, maybe even 400. Great athlete. Next up, Rhiann Murphy.
Rhiann actually chose Iowa University. So, that's the up-and-coming program. They actually won nationals this year for the first time. So, yeah, definitely a good program for her. She's going to be in good hands with that. And Rhiann, left SEM and came back this year, so we're definitely excited to get her back. And yeah, she definitely will be missed. She was a good leg attacker. She's one of the best leg attackers in the room, so we'll have to find somebody who can leg attack as good. But yeah, we're definitely happy to have her back this year. And I mean, in the classroom, she's lights out, so it's awesome.
All right, how about Cece Ravenel?
Cece Ravenel, I had a great year. I talked to Cece probably more than I talked to anybody since I've been here. And yeah, she had a great year. Kind of got sick towards the end of the year, but definitely she wanted to compete and push through. She had a great competitive mindset. I think she took second in preps. She didn't get to wrestle in world team trials, but yeah, a heck of a year. She'll be going to Lehigh University to wrestle for Coach Brazil, who used to coach here. So I'm sure she's going to have a great year there and definitely enjoy being at Lehigh, being the Mountain Hawk.
All right, and the fifth girls wrestling senior, Tiffany Stoshak.
Tiffany is a local kid, started wrestling here at SEM, been a part of the program. She'll be headed to Sacred Heart. Can't wait to really see her in college too. I think, we go to such high level events here. It'd be nice to see her just with some people who are more on the same level with the same knowledge that she has. And but yeah, she made big gains here at SEM. So definitely proud of her and all she accomplished. And Sacred Heart is getting a good one.
For sure. All right, how about the boys wrestling? We're going to start with Jonas Becklin.
Jonas is the most interesting story we'll probably ever have here. Well, we got a few of them, but Jonas was a state champ from Hawaii, reached out to me via email, sent me a video, and, not that I was impressed by his video. Sorry, Jonas, I was not impressed by your video. I was impressed of the fact that you wanted to be here and you took it upon yourself to do it yourself, not have your parents call. That's what I was more impressed with Jonas. And usually when that happens, my gut is right. They turned out to be something special, and Jonas was definitely something special. He came here. He never made the starting lineup, but he was competitive in a lot of tournaments, placed in a lot of big tournaments, and ended up getting a scholarship to Simon Fraser, a Division II school in Canada, right where he wants to be, in the wilderness, cutting down trees, fishing. So him and Coach Fry, they're like stepbrothers, because Coach Fry is an outdoorsman, Jonas is an outdoorsman, and Jonas fixed a lot of stuff in my house. So Jonas would definitely be missed. I wish I had another year with him just to have him around. Great character on the team. He's a leader, even though he may not have thought he was a leader. He was a leader because he did everything right, and he did what was expected of him all the time. So yeah, Jonas will definitely be missed.
What a great example of someone who, like you said, never made the starting lineup, but made the most of this year at SEM, in the classroom, in the wrestling room, to set him up for a successful life.
That's the beauty about coming here. You don't have to be a starter to get what you want out of our program. You can achieve your goals with being a non-starter. So
for sure. How about Chris Crawford?
Chris Crawford, yeah, definitely had a great year. Chris Crawford is, every year we wrestle Blair, I always had to throw him in kind of at the last minute, and he did it again this year. And he placed at preps, Fargo All-American, World Team All-American. So Chris Crawford has done it all. This year he just so happened to be behind Joe Sealy, so it was a tough wrestle off for him, but he was in the mix. I don't know, was it Sealy? Yeah, I think Sealy, or maybe Vince Bazakis, but he's right there in the mix. He could easily go either way, where he could be a starter. Any other school, he's a starter. And he will be headed to Indiana. We'll definitely miss Chris. He's pretty silent, doesn't do much, just comes in and works. So we'll definitely miss Chris Crawford and proud of him for going to Indiana.
And next up, Jake Daly.
Jake Daly came back this year. That was just so interesting because he thought he might be a 57-pounder or a 165-pounder. And it was hard to keep that weight going down, so he decides to bump up to 190, find a spot where he can fit in, and that's the beauty of wrestling, right? I think everybody thinks they always need to go down, it's okay to go up. It's okay to go up and lift weights and eat and enjoy yourself. So he did that, ended up working out. Like I said, he had a real good Ironman tournament, then a good Power A tournament. He was in the finals. He goes out and pinned the guy at the National Wrestling Hall of Fame when we needed a pin. I mean, this other kid he's wrestling was a stud. He went out and just went out to the pin him. And then the Blair dude, he was going for the pin the whole time, probably gassed himself out. Probably would have pinned him if he didn't gas himself out. But, but he was always going for the pin, and the weight, the lifting weights, and his conditioning he was doing really gave him a lot of confidence. His wrestling he always wrestled hard, which was good. So then he goes to the national preps, and he had to beat like the 3 seed, the 2 seed, the 1 seed. Like he beat all of them to win the national prep title. So yeah, I mean, just an amazing year by Jake Daly. So he was like, "Coach, I'm gonna take a break for this year." I'm like, "You deserve it. You deserve it." You put together a heck of a year. So he'll be headed to North Carolina with Rob Cole and the crew down in Chapel Hill. So pretty excited for him.
All right, how about Dom Federici?
Dom Federici. Dom is like our captain and major. I mean, our captain and leader. He definitely is the vocal one and makes sure everybody's on the straight and narrow. And Dom also does a podcast with me, The Money Round. You can check it out on the Rockfin if you need to check it out. But yeah, so Dom would definitely be missed for his me. He's always been kind of my right-hand man, also known as the manager on the team. But man, he had a great year also. I want to say, I think he took 3rd or 4th at Ironman. The National Wrestling Hall of Fame, he beat like the number 2 ranked kid in the country in the duel to help us win that duel against Del Barton. And like the Blair dude, he didn't get to wrestle. I think Power A might have took 2nd. And he made the finals of the national prep tournament. Lost to Will Hinkle from Blair, good kid there. But yeah, Dom will be definitely one hard to be replaced just because of everything else he brought. You know, he's a local kid also, so kids can always go to his house, and his parents are great. You know, they help raise kids who are not theirs, who just go to see them, and they hold them accountable. So yeah, that's gonna be a hard one to replace.
And he's off to Lehigh.
He's off to Lehigh. Sorry, yeah, off to Lehigh. Wrestled for Coach Pat Santero, so another Mountain Hawk.
All right, next up, Caleb Lawrence.
Yeah, Caleb Lawrence been in the program, I want to say 3 years, maybe 4.
Ever since you got here.
He's been here ever since I've been here. You know, just been a good staple to the program. And I mean, the kids love him a lot. You know, I kind of found out Caleb's kind of the jokester of the team. I didn't really know that. He's kind of the hidden jokester of the team. But yeah, I think he's going to Wilkes-Barre to attend school there. So we'll definitely miss a lot of his personality and jokes. And Caleb's one of those guys that can wrestle with anybody in the room. So he definitely will be missed.
All right, how about Nolan? Is it Lees?
Nolan Lees. Nolan, good story for Nolan. He came to Sim. He really wanted to get in. I think he might have been rejected maybe the first time or waitlisted. And he wrote a letter of why he needed to be at Sim to Mrs. Bartrine. And the letter was so good, they decided to let him in, which was awesome. And that what kind of started it off for him. He came here, he was behind some tough guys, competed in some tournaments. And for those who don't know, we send our kids to a lot of college tournaments. Shout out to Coach Joe Ravelli, takes our kids to college tournaments when they're close and they wrestle in it. And Nolan got to wrestle in a lot of college tournaments this year and just took advantage of every opportunity he had academically and athletically. And he's going to Harvard University to wrestle, which we're very proud of that for him to maybe not getting in, to come here to get in and to get in Harvard is just crazy.
Yeah, and there's another video you might want to check out with him and Jake Daly and Rhiann Murphy all talking about their college decisions. That's on YouTube on Danica Spera's channel. Yeah. Luke Lillidahl. We already talked about Luke, but another opportunity to reflect on.
Yeah, we said what he said. Like I say, he just made his 4th world team, the Hodge Trophy, back-to-back national prep titles. Man, I don't know what else you can say about him, man. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be missed, headed to Penn State. He'll wrestle probably for the 2nd best coach in the country. So that program is okay. So he'll do pretty good there. But yeah, definitely be missed. His leadership will be missed.
The best coach in the country, of course.
Oh yeah, he's it.
That's right. How about Smokey McClure?
Smokey McClure, a kid from Washington. I want to say he took second in the state of Washington, second in Colorado at one point in time during COVID. He wrestled there. And he's another kid that kind of came here my second year, which was pretty cool to me, right? We're going through the transition period, and he took a gamble on himself and made the starting lineup, placed in a lot of big tournaments here, and is going to Utah Valley with Coach Adam Hall. So we're pretty excited for him. He'll be in the Big 12, and he's on the West Coast where he wants to be. So another kid that followed his dream, and it worked out for him.
Big 12, Big 10, Ivy League, ACC. I mean, we got all the bases covered.
We are getting all the bases covered.
Now let's talk about another Ivy Leaguer, somebody who I believe was best friends with Jake Daly and Dom Federici, Davis Motika. Tell us about Davis.
Yeah, Davis, a local kid, man. Davis is an interesting character right there. He's always late but stays late. I don't know why this kid can never be on time. His name is Mr. Punctuality. But he does stay after practice for a long time. And Davis also just made his second World Team Finals in Greco at U20 this past weekend. He had a great tournament, made it to the finals, ended up getting beat in the finals, but it's hard to make it to the finals of these tournaments. And I've been a part of the World Team process probably since 2010 or 2011, and it's been as much. I've been here for 3 years, and as many people we had in the World Team Trials finals, it's like, well, it seems so much easier here than when I first started. But yeah, but kudos for Davis particularly. He's going to University of Penn, another Ivy League school. I think he's going to maybe gray shirt the first year there, so he'll be there for a while. Just help him get bigger, to grow into that 125 and get into the business school there. So that's kind of his goal. So pretty excited for him and his family, local kids. So should be pretty exciting.
All right. How about Joe Seeley?
Joe Seeley, yeah. Joe came in the same year I did. So glad to have met him and been a part of his journey. He'll be headed to Penn State. He also took third this weekend at the World Team Trials. Took a loss early on to Bo Mantalona, University of Michigan, freshman. Great match, they're both in it. But just didn't go our way that time. But yeah, Joe, national prep winner, world champ. I made the world team, I think it was 2022 in Italy. But yeah, I think Penn State's pretty excited to get him. Coach Kel Sanderson's pretty excited about having him on the team, and I think he's going to fit right in with that crew and their system. So he'll be also going to wrestle for the second best coach in the country. So pretty excited about it.
All right. And how about Mikey Trujillo?
Mikey from Arizona, came in, earned the spot, placed in a lot of tough tournaments, placed at preps. We had 13 out of 14 placed at national preps, and Mikey was one of those placers, came back and took fifth. Great tournament for him, and he'll be headed to Campbell University. Mikey was a starter here for the 2 years he was here and took advantage of it all. So kudos for him.
And I skipped over one, Orest Nazarchuk.
Orest Nazarchuk. That was the other interesting story. Orest is actually from Ukraine, got over here because of the war. Somehow somebody found him, I don't know. Then he got a hold of us and came in and wrestled great, placed at the national preps. This was his first year wrestling folk style wrestling. He was a freestyler, and so he's getting better and better. The American folk style system is tough on you. So he figured it out, ended up placing 8th, won a couple tournaments. He also took second at the U23 Northeast Regionals a few weeks ago. So in this element doing freestyle, and Orest will be headed to Maryville University in St. Louis, Missouri, actually where I'm from. So he'll be wrestling for my old high school coach at Maryville University. So that should be pretty exciting.
And he's in good hands.
Yeah, he's in good hands. Coach Charlie Sherritt's Maryville University.
All right, I think that covers everybody who we anticipate wrestling at the next level. There were a lot of other seniors or postgraduates who drifted in and out of the wrestling room, though. Could you just talk about how this is kind of anyone is welcome to come out for this?
Yeah, you would think that, a lot of people think that our wrestlers are just so good. We won't have any beginners. We wouldn't have, too many international kids, but any and everybody can wrestle. You know, the hardest thing is just kind of sticking it out, right? How long do you want to stick it out? But the good thing about it, even if it's tough on you, our kids were very welcome to everybody, and we had kids from Vietnam, Duke Pham, Theo Yang from Korea, a lot of football players come in. Quay Shine came in and wrestled, and we just like having the, I guess you build a brotherhood through pain and through chosen suffering, I guess I'll say, and working hard. So yeah, it's a great atmosphere, and not only that, the kids get to bond on the trips and all that. So yeah, we're very open to any and everybody who wants to wrestle. So pretty excited to have anybody in the room.
And reflecting again on National Prep Wrestling Championships, when you set a new record, several new records, the way we did, you set a new high standard. It's hard to meet that ever again, quite frankly. We'll try to.
Yeah.
But, you know, how do you kind of look ahead to next season? Now, keep in mind, too, we got Sheamus Regan, the national champion, coming back. Nate Desmond, Matthew Botello, Anthony Evanitsky, Vince Bazakis, and Jude Correa are all the boys' national champs who are coming back. A number of girls coming back, including Emma Bacon, who won, what was it?
Most outstanding wrestler and national champ for the prep. So
among other outstanding girls wrestlers. What's your mindset for next year and trying to build off of the success we had this season?
yeah, I think you know, try not to worry about too much of the outcome. Mainly just make sure we get good kids here who can fit in the culture, and keeping that same mindset that, you know, we're here to work and try to be humble and everything. I mean, you know, you hit a season like that, sometimes it's hard to be humble, but yeah, I would say humble because it can easily go the other way. I mean, just as you have a good season, you have a bunch of injuries and it can all go down the drain fast. So, but yeah, I think mainly we just enjoy the process of working. I mean, when Coach Weber gets in here and Coach Heck gets on you yelling and Coach Fry is on you, you know, just remember it's done out of love and respect of knowing that what you're about to see, we have to make you ready for. So yeah, we're pretty excited for that concept and getting the right kids in.
All right, and were there any other, you know, significant milestones from the season that are worth mentioning? I know the girls with the, what was it, U20 Worlds?
Yeah, the World Team Trials in Spokane, Washington, which will be out there next year. Man, the girls had an unbelievable World Team tournament. We had put 5 in the finals, I think 4 at U17 and 1 at U20s. Claire Bowie's at U20s. I think we had Lisa Pastoriza was in the finals. Jacqueline Bazakis was in the finals. Emma Bacon was in the finals. I want to say Isis France were in the finals. So I think those 4, and then Claire Bowie. And Amelia Murphy ended up placing 4th or 3rd there. It was just insane wrestling. To get all those girls in the finals, and I think we have 3 Pan Am team members from that. I think Claire Bowie's going to the Pan Ams, Jacqueline Bazakis is going to the Pan Ams, and Luke Littledahl is also going to the Pan Ams. So, yeah, just a lot of wrestling here. We are wrestling.
That's right. And this past season, you were, you know, director of wrestling operations, so you oversaw the boys and the girls teams. It was Brett Fry who worked most closely with the girls. But what was it like working with the girls this year more than ever?
It was awesome. It definitely kept me busy. You know, it was good to kind of bring them in, and now when we join practice, you know, everybody's on the same page, tactically and technically. We're kind of using the same language for positions, the same language for different moves. So I think it helps. Now I can go coach the girls that know exactly what we're saying, or, you know, Coach Fry and coach the boys, he knows exactly what is expected of them, so worked out great.
Now, I'm a big sports history buff, local sports, SEM sports, and, you know, I love reading about what's happened, you know, 50, 100 years ago at SEM. Hopefully someone 50 or 100 years from now is discovering this era of SEM wrestling. Last question here, Coach. If somebody were discovering this era of SEM 50, 100 years from now, like, what is the message that you want to tell those future people that what is happening right here, right now?
Greatness. Tell them greatness, and I would say just, you know, when they look into the records that were broke, you know, realize there's a lot of love and a lot of compassion for our kids and understanding and developing mindset to come along with that type of talent, right? You know, everybody's like, oh, I can win if I have all those good kids, but can you, right? Can you nurture them and keep their minds in the right spot and keep, you know, make sure they're behaving in school and make sure they can do what's expected of them as a student here at Wyoming Seminary. So, but yeah, definitely, you know, I think the comparison for our team was a 2002 Blair team. So, and definitely we surpassed that. So, it's, you know, that team is always mentioned now. This team will always be mentioned like that team will be in the sport of high school wrestling.
It will. We got a place in history. We really do. Yeah. Well, Coach, I think that basically covers it for the 23-24 season. We could go hours longer.
Yeah. And don't forget, you know, I'll be the head coach at the U20 World Championships in Spain. Like I said, Luke Littledahl will be on that team, and hopefully USA bring home some more gold.
When is that? June, July?
That's September, okay.
12th
or something like that.
All right, school will be back.
We'll be back for another year then.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Coach. Well, thanks again for sitting down with me, and and hope you have a great summer.
You too. Thank you. That was awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah.